Happy Monday, May 27th, everyone. Thanks for joining me on this Memorial Day. My name is Hunter here with North Central Weather Center, and we have an active weather pattern that does persist as we go into late May here over the next few days and into at least the first week of June across the North Central states. We'll be breaking down everything that you need to know in today's weather forecast. So make sure if you are not a subscriber here to North Central Weather Center, press the subscribe button down below. We'll get you updated on the latest weather information on Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, and the weekends if needed right here on this channel. Make sure to press the like button down below and also leave any comments, questions, and concerns below. We'll get to those after the video. So without further ado, let's look at today here for your Memorial Day on Monday, May 27th. Looking at this morning's low temperatures, it was cool up here, but a refreshing cool down to start the day across the upper Midwest and the high plains. Temperatures this afternoon are ticketed for the 70s across most of the north central states here, maybe some cooler 60s up here in Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Michigan, and even some 80s, mid to upper 80s into portions of southern, southwestern Kansas, and down here into portions of southern and central Missouri into the low 80s this afternoon. We are monitoring a low end potential for some strong thunderstorms as we go into this afternoon and this evening. The Storm Prediction Center's latest day one outlook does have a level 1 out of 5, a marginal risk of severe weather here in the dark green across southern Minnesota, Iowa here, including the Des Moines area, Cedar Rapids, Waterloo, into the Iowa City area, the Davenport Quad Cities, Rockford, Illinois, and then all the way down here into Peoria and Springfield, Illinois. So that's kind of the area we're looking at for potentially some strong storms. This is mainly going to be for wind gusts of 50 to 60 miles per hour here in this vicinity across southern Minnesota, central and eastern Iowa, far southwest Wisconsin, and north central Illinois. The hail threat and the tornado threat is overwhelmingly low. So mainly looking at gusty winds with any strong storms out there today. So let's walk you through that this afternoon. Isolated coverage of storms up here into portions in northern Iowa. One or two of these storm cells may organize enough for potentially some damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour. Again, the hail threat and the tornado threat will remain low. As we go into the evening, that area of storms will shift further east and southeast into Wisconsin, into eastern Iowa, and north central Illinois, introducing the potential for some stronger storms over here going into the evening. Again, 60 mile per hour winds would be the primary mode of severe weather if one or two of these storms become severe. And then as we go into early Tuesday morning, we'll start to lose the daytime heating after midnight here, and we'll start to lose the coverage and intensity of any storms out there. And with any storms, we're not seeing any super organized convective systems or anything like that. So really, spotty quarter of an inch of rain at worst case scenario, maybe a half inch of rain underneath one of these storm cells from Minnesota into Iowa, southern Wisconsin, and northern Illinois. Maybe some rain up here in northern lower Michigan as well. Otherwise, the rest of our viewing area across the north central states will remain high and dry going through the rest of the holiday itself. Now, going into the rest of the work week here, Tuesday, May 28th, and to round out the month of May on Friday, May 31st. Looking at our temperatures day by day here on Tuesday, we are seeing some mild temperatures here. Cooler to the north into the 60s, but across our central and southern areas, 70s and 80s there on Tuesday. Wednesday, we have 70s, pretty uniform across portions of the west, 60s across the east. As we go into Thursday, most of us will be in the 70s, and same thing as we go into Friday, although some rain cooled air on Friday could bring us down into the 50s and 60s for a time across parts of the upper Midwest. Precipitation-wise, let's look here at Tuesday. Some scattered showers and storms will be possible here into Wisconsin and parts of the upper Midwest on Tuesday. This map looks a little bit more wild than it actually will be. I think the spottiness of these showers and storms will be there. I don't think it's going to be nearly as widespread here as what this map shows. As we go into Wednesday, pretty dry day across most of the viewing area. Can't rule out a shower or storm in Kansas. Can't rule out a shower or storm over here into Michigan, Indiana, Ohio, or northern Kentucky either. Going into Thursday, a little bit more organized activity from the plains, so the Dakotas, down into Nebraska, maybe western Minnesota and Iowa, down into Kansas. We could be seeing some heavier showers and storms, mainly peak heating. So this will be Thursday afternoon into Thursday night there. Might have to watch out for some isolated strong to severe storms, maybe a marginal or slight risk day there on Thursday. And then the same thing on Friday, watching out for a few stronger storms from the upper Midwest, down there toward the Ozarks in Missouri and the central plains rains as we go into Friday. So here's the rainfall totals for the rest of the work week, Tuesday, May 28th through Friday, May 31st to end the month of May. You can see some pretty decent rains, especially down here in Kansas and western Missouri. Those will be the wettest areas over the next several days, where we could see over an inch, maybe over 2 inches of rain through the rest of the week there. Now let's look here at next weekend coming up on Saturday, June 1st. Yeah, we're starting June and into Sunday, June 2nd. You can see temperature anomalies are going to be more likely above normal for most of the north central United States. Looking at those temperatures here, you can see we are going to be well into the 70s there across the north as we go into Saturday afternoon on June 1st. 80s creeping up there into the Kansas region and Missouri, maybe even as far north as central Illinois as well as we go into Saturday. As we go into Sunday, June 2nd, that heat begins to build even further north, introducing 80s further north as well, into Nebraska, into Iowa, into southern Minnesota and South Dakota, over here into Illinois and into portions of Indiana as we go into the late portion of next weekend on Sunday. Rainfall and precipitation prospects on Saturday. Again, this map looks a little bit more wild than it should be. You can see this will be a lot of spotty activity up here in the upper Midwest, maybe a little bit more organized here in the Ohio Valley. And also kind of the placement of this is a little bit uncertain right now because we are getting into the summertime. So we'll be keeping an eye on this. And you can see Saturday night, we'll lose the daytime heating. We'll lose the coverage of showers and storms. Something we may have to watch next weekend here, and some of the trends that I've been looking at in the models are a little bit more elevated instability. We're going to have a large reservoir of unstable air across the south central U.S. here, and that will be on the northern periphery up here in the northern and central U.S. And you always have to watch out for potentially a belt of strong jet stream winds over top of that ridge of high pressure. And if that gets going as we go into Sunday, you can see here Sunday night, this model, the European model in particular, the last night's run, wants to put an organized mesoscale convective system somewhere across the Midwest. Now, the placement of this, will it be in Iowa? Could it be over here in Nebraska, or maybe not form at all? Definitely a possibility, but with this type of environment here, we have increasing strong, if not extreme instability. This is thunderstorm fuel, and if you have some wind shear on top of this, we could be talking about a more organized threat for severe weather rounding out next weekend. We'll keep you covered on that. But regardless, if this does form, it gives you the idea that we could be seeing more organized rains across the Midwest. Now, don't take this to stock and say Des Moines is going to get an inch, Rochester, Minnesota is going to get an inch, Waterloo is going to get 2 inches. It's just kind of the general idea here is by next weekend, we're going to see this pattern change. We're going to have the heat building further north, and we're going to have these mesoscale convective systems here over top of that heat wave across the northern and central portions of the United States. Now, going into next work week, Monday, June 3rd through Friday, June 7th here, here's the pattern that we do see. We have a trough over here in the Aleutian Islands. We have a ridge out west across our western viewing area, right? A piece or two of this trough may try to break off and move over top of this ridge across southern Canada, north of our viewing area, and into our viewing area, diving down from Canada from northwest to southeast. And if this did occur, we could definitely be seeing the potential for some severe weather. So looking at the temperatures first, we're likely to see the warmest temperatures with that ridge further west and still near normal to a slightly above normal across our east here. And again, looking at this synoptic pattern, this could lead to some active weather here. Drier for most of the week, but I think we trend wetter across the east toward the Mississippi Valley, toward the Ohio Valley, and toward the Great Lakes, middle to late portion there of next week. And you can see next week, look at the Cape. Again, this is not verbatim, so don't take this and run with it and say, Nebraska is going to have 6,000 joules per kilogram of instability, off the charts. This is just showing you the pattern we're entering into next week, where we could be talking about increasing instability or thunderstorm fuel. And if the wind shear is present and everything comes together in the atmosphere, we may start to see an active severe weather pattern, the likes of which we haven't seen up here. In the upper Midwest, the Great Lakes haven't seen a lot of severe weather this season. That may be changing starting next week and going into early June. We'll keep you covered on that. And you can see with that instability north of that ridge of high pressure, we have a little bit of those troughs breaking off here, and we could start to see a little bit more of those mesoscale convective systems. It's a fancy term for saying there's a line of storms that may be moving through portions of our northern and central United States. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe to the channel down below. We'll get you the latest information on your weather forecast for the north central United States. The next video is currently scheduled for Wednesday, so make sure to tune back in then. Leave a like down below if you like today's weather forecast. Leave any comments, questions, and concerns below. We'll get to those later on after the video, and I hope everyone has a wonderful rest of their Memorial Day out there.